Dear friends, welcome back. This is episode number 22 of the Limitation Act. I have cited some of the decisions. In this episode, I will cite some more decisions and close it. Then in the next episode, we will answer the question which was posed by me, questions. And if possible, the time permits in this episode itself, we will answer now itself. Yes. It is not the ideal lesser time what is contemplated under section 12.2. It is not the ideal lesser time. A division bench of the Kerala High Court in ILR 1987 1 Kerala 577. It is reported in KLT also 1987 1 KLT 108. Sri Valsan Pillai versus Thankamani Amma. There an application for copy was made, but that was dismissed for non-payment of the copying charges within 3 days. A few days elapsed. Then an application was made to restore that copy application. Restored. The question was whether the time taken for time from the date of striking of the copy application to the date of restoration should be excluded for the purpose of computing the period of limitation. There is one way of looking at it. If you want to engineer things and get more time, you may get your copy application dismissed and then file an application after 2 or 3 months for restoration. Then if you are entitled to get exclusion of this period also, you will be gaining time and you can manipulate things. True. There are several things, good things and bad things for everything, every situation. We need not always think of the negatives. What is the benefit that is provided? The time taken to obtain copy of the judgment and decree or order. You made an application. Your copy application was dismissed on the ground of non-payment of a copying charges. On coming to know of it, you filed an application for restoration. The court restored it. Court, after looking into it, restored it. That means the court was of the view that this should be condoned. Then thereafter to say that you have lost those days also and therefore you cannot get the benefit of that exclusion under section 12. Whether you are entitled to say so or whether the opposite party is entitled to contend that you are not entitled to that benefit is the question. And there I will read 2 short passages. The division bench. The Supreme Court in the state of UP versus Maharaja Narayan, AER 1968, Supreme Court 960. Where the court, after considering Ramabhadra versus Kadiriya Sami, AER 1922, Privy Council 252, and Gigi Boy N. Shruti versus T.S. Chettiar, AER 1928, Privy Council 103, held as follows. So the Supreme Court held as follows, which was quoted by the division bench. Supreme Court relied on the 1922 Privy Council and 1928 Privy Council decisions. So at that time also these arguments were there, at that time also these lapses were there on the part of either the advocate or advocate's clerk or party. These are all not a new thing. These are all there. What is deductible under section 12.2 is not the minimum time within which a copy of the order appealed against could have been obtained. what is deductible under section 12(2) is not the minimum time within which a copy of the order appealed against could have been obtained. Further down, omitting to read the rest, that section lays no obligation, that is section 12, lays no obligation on the appellant to be prompt in his application for a copy of the order. A plain reading of section 12(2) shows that in computing the period of limitation prescribed for an appeal, the day on which the judgment or order complained of was pronounced and the time taken by the court to make available the copy applied for have to be excluded. There is no justification for restricting the scope of that provision. If the appellate courts are required to find out in every appeal filed before them the minimum time required for obtaining a copy of the order appealed from, it would be unworkable. In that event, every time an appeal is filed, the court not only will have to see whether the appeal is in time on the basis of the information available from the copy of the order filed along with the memorandum of appeal, but it must go further and hold an inquiry whether any other copy had been made available to the appellant, and if so, what was the time taken by the court to make available the copy. This would lead to great deal of confusion and enquiries into the alleged laches or dilatedness in respect of copies produced with the memorandum of appeal, but about copies which he might have got and used for purpose for which the court has nothing to do. So the court will not make a roving inquiry whether what happened, whether you have received any other copy earlier. The question is whether in this appeal which is filed by you, you are within time. So I will give an example. A judgment is pronounced today. I am a party. I make an application, certified copy of the application for judgment and decree. I made the urgent application, thinking that I should file the appeal immediately. So urgent application, that will be taken some with some out of turn arrangement. I got copy within 15 days. My time starts for the purpose of appeal, my time starts from then. It ends in another 30 days. So on the 28th day, I was satisfied that I will not be able to file the appeal, either because I do not have the necessary court fee for it, or I could not brief the lawyer or prepare the appeal, whatever it is. I can do one thing. I can manipulate, no harm. I can make another copy application. All these days will be lost, but that will be barred. Suppose I had made another copy application after a few days. Another copy application after a few days after the first application is filed, ordinary application. I got copy leisurely after 2 or 3 months. I file an appeal with that copy. It is within time. Then you are the opposite side. You say, no, this man has got an urgent copy earlier and therefore time has run out. He cannot maintain this appeal. You cannot say that. Court is not expected to make an inquiry on that. What is a certified copy produced? Whether the appeal is within time based on that certified copy. If it is not within time, whether there are grounds for condoning delay. These are the only matters. Not make an inquiry whether this man has with some designedly or with ulterior motives got another copy and then why he suppressed it and all those things is not the scope of inquiry before the appellate court. I may get or I may not get. And even if I concede that I have got a copy earlier, of course, you look at this appeal and the certified copy produced along with this appeal, is the appeal time barred? No. Then accept it. I may engineer things, I may manipulate things, I may do this and that. Purposes may be different. or I may get a certified copy for the purpose of execution, or I may do for some other purpose before protection of any other authority. For the purpose of appeal, I may again make an application. These are all, I am entitled to it. I need not explain to any authority. So, in this division bench case, which I referred to, Srivalsan Pillai versus Thankamani Amma, the question was, when a copy application is dismissed for default, that is not producing the stamp paper, and it is restored to file after condoning the delay, then the entire period occupied for the purpose of getting the certified copy, including the period during which the application was dismissed for default, will be excluded. That is a view taken, following by Supreme Court, following the Supreme Court judgments, which relied on the Privy Council judgments. Then take another case. Kerala High Court, other decisions also, I am not referring to it. Yes, another very interesting case. 1969 KLT 876. 69 KLT 876. Champakakkutti Kalyani. Champakakkutti Kalyani versus Kunju Kamalakshi. Kunju Kamalakshi. By Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer. I will verify whether it is reported in any other journal. If it is necessary, I will do it in the meanwhile. What was in that judgment was, going by the copy of the judgment, an appeal is filed by the party. Going by the copy, certified copy of the judgment, the appeal is out of time. And going by the copy of if the time taken for obtaining copy of the decree is also excluded, the appeal is within time. That was the argument put forward by the appellant. You look at the judgment, you get 12.2, 12.3, both can be excluded. Both can be excluded. So I got the judgment, I got the decree also. You exclude the time taken for the judgment, time taken for the decree also, exclude it, my appeal is within time. This is my argument. The office, High Court office raised an objection. All right, that contention is possible. But in this particular case, the copy of the decree was applied for after 90 days prescribed for filing the appeal. So the time was over. Then you applied for copy, I applied for copy, and that I cannot get exclusion is the argument put forward by the registry office. Came up before Justice Krishna Iyer. Justice Krishna Iyer said that it is not the ideal lesser time. I am entitled to get exclusion of the time taken for obtaining the copy of the judgment and also copy of the decree. And combined calculation is possible. I am entitled to the full benefit of 12.2 and 12.3 of the Limitation Act. I will read a short paragraph. It is not permissible for the court to abridge the period allowed for filing the appeal by Section 12, read with Article 116 of the Limitation Act. A true construction of Section 12 justified the stand that the exclusion of the time for obtaining copy of the decree does not depend upon the application being made within 90 days. Even if it is made beyond the original period of 90 days. That is to say, even if it is beyond the original period of 90 days, such time can be excluded provided the application has been made within the extended period, that is to say within the total period made up of 90 days allowed under Article 116 and the time required to obtain copy of the judgment allowed under 12(3) of the Limitation Act. Got it? I got copy of the judgment. 90 days is the period for filing appeal. I made the application for copy of the judgment, immediately I got it. My appeal is within 90 days. For purpose of computing those 90 days, I am entitled to get that exclusion of time to get the copy of the judgment. Suppose the total period of exclusion is 30 days or 20 days. 20 days we will take it. It took 20 days time to get copy of the judgment. So I am entitled to 90 days plus this 20 days, 110 days. I filed it within time. Suppose I made the copy application for the decree within this 90 plus 20 days. Justice Krishna Iyer held that I am entitled to exclusion of the time taken for obtaining copy of the decree as well. It is not the 90 days provided in the second column of the schedule to the second column of Article 116 that is relevant. It is the 90 days computed on the basis of section 12(2), 12(3) that is relevant. That is the prescribed period. So if the prescribed period happens to be on the 110th day of the judgment, and before 110th day of judgment you have applied for copy of the decree also, notwithstanding that it was filed after 90 days, you are entitled to get exclusion of that period for occupied for getting copy of the decree under section 12(2). This is what is held in Chembakutti's case by Justice Krishna Iyer. It is not the ideal lesser time that is relevant. I will verify 1969 KLT 876. Yes. Only KHC and KLT. Only KHC and KLT, not in ILR or AER. It's a very important judgment, very useful judgment for the lawyers. But unfortunately it is not reported in ILR or AER. And by a very eminent judge, Justice Krishna Iyer. These are all the matter of reporting. Then another single bench judgment 1993 2 KLT. 1993 2 KLT 456. Thangappan versus Raghavan. That was also the time copy application was rejected on the ground of non-payment of the stamp, etc., non-furnishing of stamp. It is restored. That restoration can be, that period can be excluded. That is a view taken. And that is followed, even relied on in 2019 KHC 9. 2019 KHC 9. And the Kerala High Court has taken the view that an order for restoration of the copy application is not an administrative order. Notice to the opposite party is required. Next. An appeal under the Hindu Marriage Act. An appeal under the Hindu Marriage Act. time taken to get the certified copy of the decree, whether it can be excluded is the question. Can be excluded. What is the argument? Argument is 29.3, section 29.3, which says, save as otherwise provided by any law for the time being in force. With respect to marriage and divorce, nothing in this act shall apply to any suit or other proceeding under such law. This was the argument. Therefore, section 12 will not apply. Full bench answered, what is not applicable is nothing in this act shall apply to any suit or other proceeding. It does not apply to appeals. Appeal is said to the High Court, matrimonial matters. There this is not covered, suit or other proceeding. To suit or other proceeding, this is appeal, and therefore the full bench held that the time taken for obtaining copy, because 30 days under the Hindu Marriage Act, the period provided is 30 days. Sometimes it takes more time, more than 30 days, to get copy of the order passed by the court, trial court, at that time district court, now family court. District court, sometimes it takes more than 1 month. And if the court says that no, the time for getting copy of the judgment cannot be excluded for the purpose of filing appeal, means what? Putting the party to a prejudice. So the question was considered whether Hindu Marriage Act provides for a different period of limitation. Agreed. So that will prevail. 29.2 at the prelude we have seen. That will prevail, and sections 4 to 24 of the Limitation Act will apply only insofar as and to the extent to which they are not specifically excluded. This is before a court. Therefore, Limitation Act automatically applies. So, section 12 also applies. If so, the time taken for obtaining copy of the order should be excluded. This is the interpretation placed. Then, another full bench decision. This is 85 KLT 540, Yashoda versus Narayanan. Yashoda versus Narayanan. Then another full bench decision of the Kerala High Court, State of Kerala versus Shyamala Thambirati. 80 KLT 34, full bench. State of Kerala versus Shyamala Thambirati. Private Forest Vesting and Assignment, Kerala Private Forest Vesting and Assignment Act. Appeal under section 8A is provided to the High Court whether the time taken to get copy of the judgment of the order of the Forest Tribunal can be excluded under section 12.2 of the Act was considered, and the full bench held that the time can be excluded for the purpose of computing the period of limitation for filing the appeal. Then combined calculation is possible. Combined calculation is you can have the time taken for obtaining copy of the judgment excluded, copy of the decree also can be excluded. Combined calculation is possible, and you can find out the last date based on that. It is not the ideal lesser time that is contemplated under section 12 for the purpose of filing appeal. It is what is you are entitled to. Limitation Act, if it provides for filing a suit a particular time, within that time you do not file it, it's a drastic consequences. So for filing the appeal, you could not file the appeal within time. You have to get a stay of the decree. Suit for recovery of possession decreed. Your possession will be disturbed, but your appeal is delayed. The appellate court will not grant a stay unless and until the delay is condoned. So it is drastic consequences. See, such cases or otherwise, whatever is entitled to the party you cannot deny. And there are decisions to the effect that where two interpretations are possible, that interpretation which saves the limitation must be accepted. This is the principle. Limitation, you cannot have any equitable consideration. Once it is over, the consequences follow. But when two interpretations are possible, that interpretation which is in favor of saving limitation will be applied. Then I will cite one more decision and wind up on that. Then next episode we will answer the problem. The last decision which I would like to point out is ILR 1991 1 Kerala. ILR 91 1 Kerala 351. 1991 KHC 612 Mustafa Kamal versus Ishwaran Nambudiri. There a decree was passed for payment in installments. First installment was to be paid on 5th April. Payable on 5th April with a default clause. So the amount was not paid. It is not disputed the judgmentor defaulted even to pay the first installment. The first installment was payable on 5th April. Period of limitation for execution of the decree is 12 years under Article 136. How to compute it? 5th April. 12 years, 5th April it was filed. 6th April it was filed. 5th was the court closed for summer holidays. The argument was that 5th April, the date of installment is to be excluded. Then the time begins to run from 6th. So it ends on 6th. Was the argument. That was not accepted. The court said that it is barred by limitation. It should have been filed on 5th April, 12 years. So that is an end of it. We will see in the next episode. Thank you.